chat, we are back. We are playing. Where the hell did he go? Batman, aka the Vengeance Paladin. So we're rocking two-handers, and we'll go over the character and the gear and all that stuff and where we're at. It'll be here in a minute as soon as this loads. Last stream we completed Act 2. We defeated Duriel, which wasn't that bad. He was much easier than Andariel was, which is kind of a switch. Usually he's pretty tough, but anyway. So we'll go over here. I was playing a little bit off farming on Players 8 with one of my other characters. So. Okay, that was a big, long load. So hopefully we stop dropping frames because that was really weird. Okay, so we'll start with with our character, and we'll start with our inventory and all that jazz. So we're rocking Bonesnap. We found it, and this is an awesome weapon. We rolled kind of a mid-roll. It can roll up to like, I think 300%. I think it's 200 to 300% ED. So we rolled a medium of the road. We did punch a hole in it and put a shale rune in it because the only issue with this weapon is the slow attack speed, so we fixed that with the shale rune. We could actually, as we move forward, up this and continue using it if we want to. If we don't find anything better as we move forward, because this thing does, the 254% ED isn't bad, so it does scale decently, and so we can up this and make it potentially something that we can use even going into hell. Theoretically, I mean, and if you up it twice, it does, it's a pretty good chunk of damage. Anyway, we also have Hearth. We made this so we have Cannot Be Frozen because we found no other form of Cannot Be Frozen, and we don't have access to Rhyme Shield because we're using two-handers. So we made Hearth, which is basically shored up our cold res. We're basically like immune to cold at this point, because I think we have we're basically immune to cold. We have 75 cold res, and then we absorb 15%. So that's pretty good. We have just this random resistance amulet, +2 to traps, doesn't do anything for us. We have chance to cast chain lightning as whatever. Basically this is just 14 resist all. This could definitely be upgraded. Sanders boots, we haven't found anything better, so we have 40 fast run lock, some attack rating, strength and dexterity. We have 2 attack rating rings, because again, we just really haven't found anything. Now we do have this percentage attack rating thing, but this isn't, we're not high enough level for that percentage to outdo either of these guys, which is a little odd. So that's why we're not wearing that yet. We do have Angelics, so if we find the Angelics ring, that'll fix our attack rating problems, and then we can switch the other one to maybe a resistance ring or something. We found this FCR ring, we're not using that, and then we found this was the amulet we were using, Magic Find, and then a tiny bit of mana. Other things we found was I kind of just grabbed this shield because, if you would bend this to kind of show off the idea that you could do Vengeance one-handed with like a shield and Ginther's Rift, since we did find this. We do also have these IS and cold resist gloves as opposed to Venom grips, which now that we're no longer worrying about Andariel, we'll probably, actually I think the reason we put these on is because our cold res is so maxed out. So, and then if we found Saigon's Shelter, if we find any more other pieces of Saigon's, we could potentially use this or give this to our merc, but currently it's not going to be better than Stealth with just kind of the way it is. So, let's go ahead and look at our skills. Oh, we also have a teleport staff on swap. So we'll start here. The main thing is Vengeance. It's our main skill, so we have it completely maxed. We don't have any plus to skills, unfortunately, so it's just level 20. Gives us a big chunk of attack rating, 210%, and then fire, cold, and lightning damage, and those scale off of the resist auras and salvation. We have 1 Wonder in charge. It's just amazing to move around. It makes you get around a lot faster. If you were doing one-handed and like sword and board style, you would want to come down and get Holy Shield, but we're not doing that. Defensively, offensively, we're going to go down to Conviction. This is our main aura. The minus enemy defense is really helpful to us because we need to hit things, and the minus 55% resist all. We're an elemental damage build, so they just take a ton of extra damage when we hit them. And then resist fire, resist lightning. We are not pumping resist cold because, as I mentioned in previous streams, in Hell, our Conviction Aura can potentially break fire and lightning immunes. It will not break cold immune. So cold immunes we're just going to have to dive to our fire and lightning damage. Whereas fire and lightning immunes, we can actually break them. So it's worth it to max both of these. And then probably this guy, because this will give us 2% to all of these. So it's not to say we're completely ignoring cold, like there is some cold damage just innately in the skill, which is great, but the other two is what we're going to lean into because they synergize better with conviction, is basically the idea. Things that we, other things that we found, the big find last stream was this guy, plus 9 to maximum damage and 58 attack rating. Look at the difference in our vengeance damage without it. It's like 80 damage and like 100 and some almost 200 attack rating. So any of these charms that you find have plus to maximum damage, that does work with vengeance. So you want to stack as many of those as you can find. Other than that, we just have random like resist and life charms. If we do and think we're going to up this, we need more strength because requires only 69 as a maul. But when you upgrade it, that amount will go up by a lot. We have to look up and see what the required strength would be. But actually, we might be able to look in the Chronicle because we might have. So if we go to the Chronicle, weapons, maces. So Bonesnap is a maul. So it looks like the War Club. I think that's the next level up. Would be 124 strength. Yeah, and then there's the Thunder Mauls, and then Windhammer. Yeah, and then this is be a 225 strength to fully up it. So 124 strength is doable. 225 is a lot, especially without Enigma. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. Our Mercenary is rocking this just resist helm with a little bit of life on it. We found a Dark Glow, so we threw that on him to give him plus to his maximum and 10 all res and just a tiny bit of attack rating. And then he has an Insight. Now, before we get to, when we get to Hell, we're really going to want to upgrade this with an Elite base, so like a Cryptic Axe or something, because the damage on this will fall off a cliff when we get to Hell. But for now, it's pretty strong. He's doing, if you look at his damage, he's doing 422 to 765, and he attacks pretty dang fast, and especially when he uses a jab. And he has Blessed Aim, because again, helping us with our attack rating. Now moving forward, we could use Might, but that doesn't really help us a ton because it only affects our physical damage. It doesn't affect our Vengeance, and then so that's kind of why we're not using Might. You could, for safety purposes, use Holy Freeze. That would actually be pretty good. Or you could, if you had Cure Helm, you could use the Prayer, which would give you a ton of life, mana, regeneration, and then also the recovery from poison and curses from the Cleansing Aura. Because of the way the aura is stacked with Prayer, meditation, and cleansing are all like linked. And so when you have all three of them active at the same time, they all tick on each other. It's just like it's like crazy fast how it works. But anyway, so we're going to start out Act 3 here. And actually, what we might do, just for a little bit here, is do this solely because there are so many little dorks, and we want to, and just this then Ginther's Rift attacks really fast, so I think we're gonna use this just while we're in the jungle dealing with the flares. Once we're out of the jungle, we'll switch back. Mana and some magic, or in some, we don't really need that, but yeah, once we get into like yeah, this is and we're still doing, plenty of damage because Ginther's Rift is actually pretty strong. it does. It's a dimensional blade, so it doesn't have the highest base attack, but it's not terrible. It attacks pretty quick, and then also on top of our elemental damage, it also adds a bunch of magic damage. So we're basically hitting him with literally every type at this point. Except for, I guess, poison. Alright. And then we're going to switch back to Bonesnap when we go in here, because the spiders are not little turds. We do want to be careful in here because Cesark the Burning is down here. And he is one of the more deadly super uniques in the entire game. He is always cursed, and he's usually like fast, extra strong, and all that kind of crap. So he'll run you down and curse you and then kill you in like 2 hits. And he's also a spider, so he'll super poison you and you'll take a ton of damage. He's just very dangerous, and he's guarding the chest usually. So okay, here he comes. Or at least his minions. Looks like this guy has he's cursed too. There's Cesark. Yeah, extra strong, mana burn, cursed. Luckily we were able to nuke him down before he could attack us, because that's so much damage. Like, see, that guy hit us, just a couple of times, and he chunked me pretty decent, and that wasn't Cesark, so. Well, I kind of wish we came this way, and this experience shrine for that group would have been great, but we got another boss pack here. Ice Growler, the Unclean. I absolutely love the names for the random unique monsters you find in this game. I love it. And we'll switch back to this for now, because again, we're going to go outside and there's going to be flares and stuff. We'll worry about leveling once oh yeah, look how fast this attacks. This is, we're in 2-3 mana super fast, but this is great as far as dealing with these smaller enemies. And that's the nice thing about this build, because I mean really, especially once you get up on like some more to plus kills and stuff, you can kind of 1-point wonder the Holy Shield part too if you really wanted to. So you can easily switch from, this area is super dangerous and I would like to be able to block, so give me, and switch to Sword and Board, and then have your other weapon be, your big two-hander. Which is really cool, and that's one of the nice things about this build in general. It's pretty flexible on what you can do with it. And because we got cursed, we lost our shrine. So let's go Conviction. Let's go a little bit of strength. Let's make our way towards that 124 so we can up Bonesnap if we want to. Ginther's Rift is already technically, it's already a exceptional base. So if we were to in order to up this, we'd have to get this stuff to turn into a phase blade, and that would be pretty expensive. And I don't think it has the damage to really warrant becoming a phase blade. Because phase blades also don't have the best base damage. Their special thing, their good thing is that they're indestructible and they attack extremely fast. So if you're needing a to swing as fast as possible, like if you're playing like a Zeal or something, phase blades are really the way to go. Okay. Get the shrine here. See if there's a waypoint down here or a cut through. Because one thing you can often find in the Spider Forest is a cut through that goes straight to the Flare Jungle, and you can just bypass the Great Marsh, which is great because there's nothing really in the Great Marsh. There's no quests in there, so you don't have to go in there. Mana. So whenever you do find that cut through, it saves you a lot of time. Let's go back and drop off some stuff. So let's go here. Half freeze duration, we do not care. Ooh, enhanced damage. This we're gonna keep this because this should work for the for our skill. At least I believe that it does. Again, Vengeance is very, very weird. It's kind of like kicking with the Assassin. There's just certain things that work with it and certain things that don't. And it's not always like the most obvious what those things are. Because of the way it scales off of the physical damage, it really goes. It matters for I guess the order that things get added to your damage. Because if it sits on a certain layer, I guess you could say, and anything that's not in line with that layer or before or after, or however you want to say that, won't work. Yeah, we're not quite out of the woods yet. So we got the potion from Alcor, we got our power plus 20 to life. All right. We're going to keep checking both sides of the river and see if we can find our exit. A rare helm, we can take a peek and see. Bonus to attack rating, poison resist. I don't think that's better than the dual res helm that he currently has. The main thing we're looking for at this point is another 3 open socket helmet, so that we can make a bulwark or cure for our mercenary. No such luck with skip through. Oh, we found a natural skip into the flare. That's great. So usually you have to go through one of those like little clearings or whatever you want to call it. Oops. But this time we didn't have to, so that's great. And these little flare guys are so creepy. Ow, you little butt. That's another Venom ward. I believe this is Venom Ward, which would basically just... Main use it has is putting it on your mercenary when you're farming Andariel, and then Andariel probably won't kill your mercenary. Because it gives him like, it gives like 90 poison res or whatever, and then maximum poison res increased, and all kinds of crazy... Like, basically it's just like super FU to Andariel. that's switching. Bonesnap's not too slow now that we have a shell in it, so just keep rocking it. Didn't mean to click on that again. Another entrance here. This could be the one. Yeah, and then kind of in here, you kind of just gotta try the different ones until you find the right one. Oops, I don't know why I was trying to pick that up. Okay, here's going to be the Flare Dungeon and the Gidbin. You know what I really grinds my gears, chat? When games like get support gets turned off for it or what have you, and it's like an online only game, and so you just like can't play that game anymore. It basically just doesn't exist. That's annoying. That's souls. It just popped into my head because there was a granted it was a mobile game, but it was also on Steam. It was also a PC game as well. That I never got the PC version, but there's a game I used to play called called Space Wolf. It was a like grid-based tactics Warhammer 40k game based off of the Space Wolves Space Marine Legion. That game was sweet, very, very fun, challenging, but it got discontinued. So one day I hadn't played it in like 6 months. Went to log into my phone to play it. It didn't exist anymore. And I really dislike that. I really dislike the idea that like I bought a game and now I can't play it anymore because the devs decided. Like I didn't get to decide. Okay, I think the Ginther's experiment is point proven or whatever, but God dang it. But anyway, you can do that if you want. Okay, got some rubies here. Tend to attack rating. I mean, sure. And he'll sell Ormus the Venom Ward. We don't really need it. Alright, give us a cool ring, Ormus. Attack rating, mana, and low lightning resist. Thanks for no thanks, Ormus. Well, we tried. Excuse me. Okay, let's go ahead and deposit our money. And let's go into the flare. Now here is where it's really a good thing that we have that teleport staff, even though it bankrupted us at the time to buy it, because teleporting through here is generally like a nice way to go. Oh shit. Sweet. Okay. Luckily, VIII was able to face tank that for us. So that was good, because that was a lot of ghosts. There's a Targe. Two sockets, some enhanced damage. So you could make a rhyme out of that if you were going for the, again, for that one-hander strategy. And then you wouldn't have to wear Hearth, you could wear a different helmet. Let's go resist fire. Let's go a little more strength. And Witch Doctor and Dogo is usually stuck in the corner of the map somewhere. Okay. Snack going. Jeez. Stay alive, VIII. Okay, just keep looking for the treasure chest. More ghosts, love that. Perfect, he leveled. So, yeah, Witch Doctor and Dugu is always in like the corner. At least, well, not always, I guess. It's possible he can, but I find that he's usually like off in a corner, like down here, for example, which is where he is. Just be careful with him. He is, he does hit like a truck with that fire breath. What else was I gonna say? I can't remember. It's like really hot in here. I was gonna turn on the AC, but I think it's really loud and I don't want to like make it so you guys can't hear me. So. Oh, hi. Damn. These ghosts are hitting hard. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about him. Alright, now after we finish up this, the flare here, we're just making our way back out. We need to make our way towards, Kuros. And, towards the end of Act 3. Okay, that's a great marsh. We don't have to go through there, which is good because I don't want to deal with souls. In normal, they're not. I mean, they still suck to run into, but they're not like the worst thing in the world. But in Nightmare, they get worse, and in Hell, they're just awful. They'll just like nuke you really fast. So. Turd. Okay, so I think it should be up this way. Ow, I didn't even see that guy behind the tree. Again, any shows you guys are watching? We're almost, me and my brother have been watching Deadwood. We're on season 3. I think that's the last season. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a good show. It has, where'd my eye go? Did I drop the eye? Did I drop it in town? Hopefully I dropped it in town. I don't want to have to go find that again. Okay, good. Whew. That was almost spooky. Okay. So yeah, I've been watching, let's do this. And we'll just do that and clear out some space here. We'll only hang on to flawlesses from now on. Let's get rid of these. Also wanted defensive auras. Another percentage to attack rating one. Yeah, Deadwood's been pretty good, but we're almost at the end of it. I think we only have a few episodes left, so I'm trying to think of what we want to watch next. And I think I want to watch Invincible. I've seen like the first season a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed it. But I think I want to finish it. So I did watch the first episode the other day, but we'll see if my brother wants to watch it with me. Otherwise, I'll just watch it on my own. But jeez, careful with Stormtree. He is always lighting enchanted and has frenzy, and when he has curse like that, as you can see, you get hunked. Okay, we're in the LK again. If you find the you want to find the waypoint here, potentially for farm, because you do want to have the option to farm this place. Not that you likely will in Nightmare, but you could. Usually, this is something that people farm in Hell for runes, for the super chests around the campfires. But one of the things you can find in LK, but in Nightmare specifically, is skillers, charms that add plus to skills. This is like the first time in the game that it can drop from chests and stuff like that. So because it's the first time, you're not going to drop an overly leveled one. So a lot of over leveled ones don't have skills. So basically, it's just like slightly improved. It's like Indara with SOJ, right? You can only drop 3 different rings, and so because one of them is SOJ, it makes SOJ much more like easy to find off for. It's the same idea. They're not going to be like a skiller with 40 life, but they'll just be like a skiller, right? So if you're wanting to find a bunch of just skillers for your character, get someone who has like a sorceress with a lot of faster casts and teleport, and just run around in here. I would still recommend probably doing it in Hell anyway, just because you can find better stuff in Hell, and particularly those high runes. But don't let me tell you to live your life. If you want to farm for skillers, this is the place to do it. Which one of the things I like about Diablo 2 is that there's a lot of like general farming you can do, but there's also like target farming you can do, where it's like certain things are more prolific at certain areas, which I think is really great. But yeah, also all these like bodies and tree trunks and loose stones and baskets and all this kind of crap. Go ahead and click on that stuff, because you can drop all kinds of stuff on those. Like, I've actually dropped one of the times I found I don't remember what rune it was, like a Vex rune or something. I kicked over a rock in here, and it was like, no, or I think it was a hollow log. It was like, oh, here's a Vex rune. It's like, okay. Granted, it was in hell, but still, that's one of the nice things about this area is there's just so many poppables that you can just like click on and it'll just throw stuff on the ground, and that just doing that over and over again just increases your chances of dropping something you actually want. So. So these hell swarms are immune to physical in hell, but we don't care about really any immunities, again, because we do fire, lightning, and cold and physical damage. So unless something's immune to like fire and lightning, specific, or cold and fire, or, you know, two of their elements basically, would make it slightly annoying. But even still, we're pretty okay. Which is one of the things that's nice about this build is don't have to worry about immunities once you're like going and you got starting to get some weapons and good damage and resistances and whatnot. You can farm wherever you want because you have all the elements basically. So immunities don't really affect you, and you don't have to worry about Sunder Charm either. So you don't have to worry about tanking like one of your resistances all to hell like a lot of elemental characters do. The serpent skin armor. It's ethereal. How many sockets? None. We were hoping that would have some sockets because we could make an ethereal rune word for our mercenary, which would be really cool, but alas. The thing that we're looking for, oh geez. Come on, switch back. Ah, geez, it didn't switch in time. That was annoying. Got distracted and got my mercenary killed. Okay, finally something that's an improvement. So rather than this, so we're going to go from attack rating, it's going to go up because of the dexterity. And then we also get some fire and poison res out of it. So that's awesome. So thank you, attack rating ring. You've served us well, but we no longer have use for you. Got another perfect amethyst here. And again, we do have the rubies, so we can craft some blood gloves at some point if we want. Not that we need any more, not that we seriously are in desperate need of crushing blow. Our main weapon, Bonesnap, has 40% on it, so, you know. And we have the venom grips, so it's actually at 45% of crushing blow. But we could eventually at some point roll some blood gloves and try and see if we can get like attack speed and some resistance to their life or something. Alright, so let's go back and kill that group here. These guys are dangerous because they have a aura. There we go. That should solve that part of it. The other thing we're looking for, and it's actually right here next to us, I believe, is the... oh, no, it's not. Is Serena's Temple. Battle Sister Serena is guarding the magic book that gives 5 stat points. So we want to find her and take that from her. There's a flail. 4 open socket flail. This is a call to arms base, or I mean not call to arms, a Hodo base. So I would keep this if you're like I already have some of these. So I'm not going to. But if you don't have these, 4 socket flails like this are great because they don't have very high requirements, and you can make a Heart of the Oak in it, and so that's awesome. So you want to hang on to at least a few of these, I would say, because the other things you can make in here that are kind of fun is there's some chance to cast rune words like you could put in there that are pretty fun. But anyway, that's the main thing is the Heart of the Oak. So I would hang on to that if you don't already have them, like in your stash for your shared. This character we don't care because it doesn't do a ton. We're using physical damage, but to scale our stuff, not plus skills really. Oops. Yeah, I kind of wanted the other one actually. Also, we have not used our Nightmare respec yet, so that is still available to us. Here's a Tusk Sword, unfortunately 1 socket. Tusk Sword would be, again, if you didn't want to use Bonesnap or you don't have Bonesnap and you found a Tusk Sword with some sockets, you could make some rune words in that. That would be pretty good. Interesting that we haven't ran into Serena's temple yet. It's usually really close to the waypoint, and it's always facing, the entrance is facing this way. Oops, didn't walk in there. So it's kind of, usually it's very close to the waypoint, so that's kind of weird that we haven't seen it yet. Ow. That one guy came up and he just beat me up. The Zacharmites, they hit pretty dang hard. It kind of depends on your setup on which ones are going to be more dangerous. The casters can be pretty dangerous because they can cast lightning and like blizzard and stuff. And blizzard is very scary. But it really depends on, if you have good resistances, then the other guys might be scarier because they run at you and chop you to pieces. Okay. Come on, Serena. There it is. Yeah, so Serena's Temple is always going to have, facing this way, I'm pretty sure it always has this bush, or usually has this bush right in front of it, and it has this temple called the Ruined Temple. Battle Sister Serena lives in here. Let's go ahead and do our level up. So let's go. We'll go with Conviction until we get to 10, and then we'll see what we want to do next. We're gonna go with Strength until we get that to that 124 in case we decide to up Bonesnap. Also, if you're doing a one-hand like sword and board thing, eventually, if you want a Monarch Spirit Shield, you're gonna need 156 Strength. But I wouldn't recommend a Monarch on a Paladin because you're the only class in the game that has access to Pally Shields. And Pally Shields are better than Monarch. They take less strength, and they generally have like resistance automatically if you're using Paladin Shield, like a Targe. So Paladin is of every class in the game, pretty much every class likes to use the Spirit Rune Word. No one is better at using the Spirit Rune Word than the Paladin because of the fact that he can put them in like these kinds of shields, and everyone else has to wait for Monarch in Hell. There's other 4 open socket shields that you can put in, not obviously other than Monarch, but they all have the Monarch's the one that has the lowest strength requirement, and it's still 156. So It's a lot to invest. But since you're using spirit, again, it'll give you back, you know, a ton of life and mana and all that kind of crap. So. Mana burn everywhere today. Power of reach. That spear though. Also, does anyone in the chat play tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, World of Darkness, Powered by the Apocalypse, any of those kinds of games? I have played for years. I've played various systems. I grew up on like D&D 3.5 and third. Third is initially when we learned how to play. I learned how to play. My friend, one of my best friends growing up, I was really close with him and his brother. His brother was a couple years older than us, and their dad was an old school D&D nerd from back in the day. So he had all of his old books from like the 80s, and we would always go through them and like look at them and like look at the pictures and try to figure out like what all the stuff meant. And then he never got around to teaching us this advanced second edition because it was pretty complicated. We were still, you know, we were little kids. I was in like second or third grade. When I first started hanging out with them. But then a few years go by, and third edition comes out in like 2000, I think. And we went to the game store. We actually went for a Magic tournament, and Scott, my friend's dad, saw that third edition was out. He was like, started asking the shop owners like, "Hey, what's with that? Like, what's it like?" And they're like, "Oh, you know, it was bought out by Wizards of the Coast, and it's like, you know, it's very streamlined comparatively to the old editions," which is crazy to hear that from about 3.5, but you know, or third edition, which became 3.5, because anyway, like down the line, 3.5 ended up becoming like a very dense game, but anyway, so he talked to the shopkeep, and the shopkeep sold him the player's handbook, the DMG, and the monster manual, and there was like he didn't buy, and then also he started with there was like a starter set thing that you could buy, and it came with like some pre-gen characters, and then also a couple blank character sheets if you wanted to make your own, and then also it came with like a little adventure to run. And so he read through it and learned and figured out how to play, and then he taught us how to play, and then we were hooked like immediately. We were like, this is the best game. D&D is the coolest game ever. Like, this is so awesome, because we all you know, we're just big nerds, and we were like, we had big imaginations and stuff, and we just fell in love with it. So yeah, so I started playing D&D really early on. We already played Magic before that, which Scott also taught us how to play. And so I'd been playing Magic for a while. I started playing Magic in 96, or 97 maybe. I think it was whatever year like Visions came out. And so he taught us how to play that, and then he taught us how to eventually how to play D&D, and then we kind of just ran with it, and so we started playing all the time. And then when third ended and fourth came out, I really, really enjoyed it, and so did my group. Actually, our whole group pretty much, we loved it, because also like we really enjoyed the tactical kind of combat side of D&D a lot, and the fourth edition is by far the most tactically interesting and complex version of D&D, and the most balanced. It's the only edition of D&D where casters don't just massively outpace the martial classes, and the fighting classes actually are very cool and can do cool things like casters, and it makes it so they're actually really fun to play. which is someone who's like loves the fantasy of a barbarian. Like, barbarian sucks and is actually really not really fun to play in most editions of D&D, unfortunately, even though it's like, it's my favorite class because I love the idea of being a barbarian, hence why we're running around with our paladin with a two-handed hammer. Like, that's badass. Like, being a big old dude that does that, you know, has a giant beat stick or a giant sword or whatever. It's cool to me. So I always liked the martial classes, but they sucked. In third they sucked. In old school editions of D&D, I guess they were a little bit better, like in original, but you know, still rough. Let me actually cube these up real quick. And so we really enjoyed the fourth edition, even though it was very unpopular in general, I guess, amongst the community, which I have my own reasons for thinking of why I think that is, but anyway, I'm going into that right now. But we really enjoyed it, and we played for 4E for a long time, and then we did play some 5E. I'm not super into 5E. I think it's a step backwards in my opinion, and in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's simple, but the simplicity also is one of its strengths, but it's also, I think, one of its biggest weaknesses. And also the return of the divide of martial classes being garbage and casters being gods as came back with a vengeance in 5th edition. So not a big fan of that. But all this being said, is I would love to hear your guys' experiences with the tabletop if you have any. And also, I'm looking at getting back into playing again. I have a buddy who, me and him have just created a Discord server where we're talking about running a game together, and we kind of, so there's another system called World of Darkness. Oh my god, I don't really want to deal with that. So, give us ourselves a second here and then suit up and then let's go in. Okay. Anyway, there's another system called World of Darkness, and it's based off of, it uses D10s, and it's a really cool system. And we played it, and I guess we ran it very not like how the game normally is played. But we really enjoyed the way we played it, so we're now trying to basically overhaul and do a little bit of a personal customization of World of Darkness to fit our group, basically, and codify it. So, but we're also looking at potentially using a different system like GURPS or Powered by the Apocalypse or something. But holy, all right, so this shield's great. Tons of resistances, requirements minus 30%, poison length reduced, faster hit recovery. Yeah, if you wanted to do sword and board, there you go. 78 to life. I think I'm gonna give that to the Merc because, let's see, we'll hang on to this resistance helmet in case we need it for hell, but for right now, just giving him a huge life pool I think is pretty good. Oh, here we go, +1 to Paladin skill levels. So now we can keep our eye out for Cannot Be Frozen in some other variety, right? And then if we find it, Cannot Be Frozen in some other variety, we can then use this guy to get some +2 skills and damage reduced by 3. Not bad. So we'll go ahead and keep that, and hopefully we can find something to that gives us Cannot Be Frozen in another way. And if we don't, we still have our Hearth. Totally fine. Let's go ahead and go back and make sure. I think it's this one. Yep. Pick up these rings. We still need to do the sewers as well, so we'll go ahead and do the sewers as soon as we get out of here. Screw you, bat. Moldburn the Slasher. Yeah, great name. That is... I love the names in this game. Ooh, an Amarin. There we go. Anyway, again, so... Here's a cutlass. Only one side, though. Yeah, so I'd like to hear about your guys' adventures in tabletop, if you guys have any. Because... I really enjoy it, and anyway, the game that we created that we're trying to get rebooted and kind of recodified, because there's certain things about this system that we were using that we didn't exactly enjoy, so we want to kind of change it up and make some changes for our own group, and so we're working on that. But the game that I ran was really fun. It was actually, I'm going to go through and go to Travancore, and then I'm going to go backwards. Was really fun. It was basically, the idea was, if you've ever seen Judge Dredd the movie with Stone Cold, or if you've ever read the comics, Judge Dredd takes place in the future, and it's like post-apocalyptic. The whole world is like a shitty wasteland, except for like these mega cities, right? That are like, you know, just piled people on top of people on top of people, just like New York, but on steroids. So that's kind of the idea for the world that we use as our base, and so everyone's piled into these mega cities, and then very early on, there was like I had a zombie outbreak happen, and it became like it was like a survival horror game, and it was really fun, and we're trying to get that going again. So that's another fun little side project. Oh my god. Another fun little side project I got going on to try and keep my sanity while I'm job hunting. Oh, we're going to pick up these Greater Talons because I'll actually show you guys. So see how this has +1 to Cobra Strike? I always pick up claws because you can roll, especially if you're playing online. I would pick these up especially, and always identify them, because if they're blue or rare, because they can roll insane. You can roll like +3 to martial arts and +3 to like certain skills, or for example. So you can basically get a +6 claw. Some of the ones that are really valuable are ones that roll +3 to traps, and then +3 to death sentry or lightning sentry, right? That's pretty crazy. And then the rare ones, you can roll like 40 up to 40 IAS, a bunch of damage, +2 to all skills, you can all kinds of crazy stuff. So you want to pick these up and identify them, because the ones that roll really crazy, yeah, they're super rare, but they're worth an insane amount for trade value online. So if you get one and you have no interest in playing an assassin or anything like that, or at least, or if you just want to get an incredible value out of it, you can trade it. Like one of those claws will trade for like many high runes, depending on how it rolls. Like you can get multiple jaw runes for one of those claws if you roll crazy enough. So keep that in mind. Just keep an eye out for always identify claws specifically. There's a few other items in the game that are kind of like that. Like you always want to identify monarch shields, because one of the things that you can roll on a blue monarch is what's called a J mod, which is Jeweler's Monarch of Deflection. Ooh, 73 to attack rating and 5 to strength. That isn't bad, because the 5 to strength saves us. It's basically 15 health, because we put those points in vitality, but we have pretty decent rings. So But anyway, yeah. So you always want to identify certain things like that, like to see if you and pick those up. Say like wolf pelts, I usually pick up because you never know. It could be a 5 NATO helm or whatever. Go to the bazaar here and go for the sewer. So yeah, I always want to pick up the pelts. Ooh, I didn't fix my teleport staff. That's one thing I always forget to do in Act 3 is fix the teleport staff because it's so far to walk for Harali. Maybe I'll do that. And I think knives are going to be in a similar vein now because of Warlock, so I would pick up knives too. Alright, repair bill is taken care of. Because we definitely want our teleport charges before we recharged before we go into the sewer, and then again before we go into the Durance. And if we hopefully we get lucky here, and we don't have to travel to Timbuktu in order to find this thing. Oh hi! Ow! That damage was hurting. There's a Grim Shield there. That could be a potential base for Rhyme or Ancient's Pledge or whatever. He was getting murdered by that thing. That was... Anyway, yeah, hopefully this thing isn't super far in Timbuktu, but it's looking like it might be. Ow. And of course we always pick up Grand Charm, we always pick up charms in general. 26 to life. It's not terrible. Nah, I'm alright. And we'll hang on. I haven't decided yet. It is a Grand Charm. If it was a large charm with 26 to life, I would not even think about it. I'd keep it. But Grand Charm, you know. But again, we're doing. That's the other part of it is, you know, we're on a playthrough. We're not end game, so we don't have all the crazy charms. And even most end game characters don't have crazy charms unless you're, you know, buying stuff on the internet or something. Check out this rare ring. Let's go. FCR damage. Some attack rating. If that attack rating was higher, I'd consider this, but we don't care because we don't really use FCR either. All right, so it wasn't too far of a jaunt in order to get through that. Speaking of friggin' zombie apocalypse, jeez. But yeah, I really liked the survival horror style of gameplay. It was really fun for my group. And I'm pretty descriptive, so it was I got to scare my players a few times, which was pretty cool. Like, so anyway. So hopefully I'll be getting that game going again with my buddy here soon, and then get that rolling. That's one of the things I'm really excited about, being back out of Portland and closer back to my home, where most of my friends still live. Because it's just a lot easier to get everybody together to... Ah, crap. I should not have clicked that. I should have kept the experience shrine, but, you know, wasn't paying attention. Just getting everybody back together. What am I doing? Why am I running? So we can actually, like, do stuff. It's great. Jeez, that was... Deckard Kane, why are you standing that close to me, buddy? Ooh, damage reduced by 21. Okay, hold on. This is insane. Like, Let's think about this. I'm going to try this because, so I know 21 doesn't look like a large number, but it is. It's actually a lot. And we can kind of go over why. Basically, like, even in, you know, pretty like end game areas, monsters don't actually do like as much damage as you think. But usually when you get chunked, it's because your resistances are bad, or you got hit by multiple things, or whatever. But like the actual physical damage that hits you isn't like a lot of times it's more than one hit. It's a whole bunch of hits, right? So anytime you can have damage reduced is really good. And I think this can roll a maximum of 25. So the fact that it got 21 is really good. And then we do have on our Paladin, on our helmet we found, that circlet, that has an additional damage reduced by 3. If we can stack a whole bunch of damage reduced and match damage reduced, that's super powerful. You need a whole bunch of it for it to be like really, really, really good. But I'm not going to sell this. I'm going to hang on to this because even if I end up not using this on this character, I'm going to give, I have a character in mind that I want to give that to. And with that, we're going to go ahead and keep this this charm, I think. And we're kind of moving our way into like a very tanky... Actually, it's not as valuable as these charms. Nah. Change my mind. We don't need that one. And I actually don't think we probably need this attack rating one. But we're going to keep it for now. Put this over here, and then... Okay, traveling call time. Got a drink of water. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Again, our mercenary will probably die because the Hydras will murder him. But that's all right. It's par for the course of fighting council members. Yep. Okay. Kill Torque Ice Fist here. Shit. Got stuck in my animation. Alright, that sucked. But I think we can get our body back. We just gotta be really careful how we do this. Again, if you can't get if you're not confident getting your body back, just save and exit and then come back to the game and it'll be laying right next to you. You can grab it. And that way you don't have to risk going in and dying a million times and losing like a billion experience. Yeah. Especially since it's Travancore, like the teleporter is like right there. But I feel I'm gonna give this a shot. I think I can get it back. Yeah. But if it was in a place where it was very like not gonna happen as far as getting our body back, don't worry about it. You can save and exit and then come back and it'll respawn basically with you. Also, especially if you're playing like hardcore, don't be afraid to save and exit. Right? Like, it's better than losing your character. So we are going to need some more potions. Oh, he got murderlated, he got cursed. Cursed will kill you pretty quick. But again, see, we just got hit, and we're that minus 21 damage is really helping here, because with Cursed, we would normally, that hit would have wrecked our house. Okay. Grand Scepter. Alright, let's re-up on potions, our mercenary, get him back. And turn in the book. And then we'll go fight Mephisto. We'll go ahead and repair our teleport staff while we're here too. Actually, we'll be alright, we have 28 charges. Now keep in mind the endurance may be very, very big. It gets bigger with each difficulty, and it starts out, even in normal, it's pretty big. So just be prepared for that. So I usually let my mercenary handle those as best he can, but if I didn't want him to die. Dolls explode when they die, and they're annoying. But yeah, Vengeance is working great. We're like 1 and 2 shotting enemies, including these maulers that they're pretty tanky, and we're 2-shotting them or 1-shotting them, so that's great. Our damage is doing absolutely great. The only thing that's a little sketchy is our survivability, but you know, we're starting to build up some resistances, and we have this damage reduced amulet now, so. A lot of dolls. Okay, here's Endurance level 2. Let's go ahead and drop to safety TP, and actually let's go back and grab more potions. I'm gonna grab more than just like my belt this time. I should have done that last time. Especially since they're not super potions yet. Now we do want to get the waypoint, because we do want to have the option to farm Mephisto if we want. Nightmare Mephisto, just like Nightmare and Dariel, is a pretty good farm spot. You can get a lot of really great items from him, and so there was no reason not to. It is if you can kill him decently safely, right? There's no reason not to farm him. It also depends on, you know, what the map looks like getting to him, because if it's too much of a trek, it's not worth it, because, you know, dolls and all that kind of crap, so mainly dolls. There's a tusk sword. Yeah, so we want to find the waypoint, and then we'll find Mephisto himself. If we do find him first, we're going to lay down a town portal and then continue on to look for the waypoint. Okay. Starhead. What a great name. Alright, mercenary leveled up. That's awesome. Oh, hi. That's the danger of jumping over walls, people. Let's lure him in here a little bit. Okay. So that room was spooky. There's multiple boss packs in there, including the maulers, so a bit dangerous. And then these, of course, these Ghoul Lord guys are just annoying as hell. These guys are so ridiculously tanky, like, and they also like run away from you and they throw shit at you, including meteors, which are pretty scary. Because the meteors actually do a lot of damage. See how big the endurance is now, though? It's just ridiculous. And then in Hell it gets even bigger, so... if you play... when I play online, I don't farm Mephisto, pretty much, because... Unless I'm playing a Sorceress. Or, I guess if you have Enigma. Because just teleporting through all this stuff is just... Or running through this stuff without teleport is just awful. It's just too much. And since you're online, you don't have your saved maps, and so you don't even know exactly where he is. So unless either I'm a sorceress or I'm partied with a sorceress that can like play taxi, I don't farm Mephisto online because I'm lazy and I don't want to run around for an hour. I do have kind of like a dedicated Mephisto farmer on my list of regular characters I play. My Blizz source has basically a perfect map for him. Like, she's literally 2 teleports from him. Like, 1 to get over a wall and then 1 into his door. And she's a Blizz source and just melts him really quick, so... Whenever he's terrorized, I hop on her. If I'm playing, I hop on her and run that area and run that until the terror zone's over. And that's one thing that's like about this game. It's really rewards playing different characters and stuff, because yeah, you can farm like everything technically, like, especially with this character because he does every element. But certain characters are definitely better at certain things, and so having a repertoire of characters is helpful. And then also it just helps keep you playing, right? Like, there's only so many hours you can pump into a single character and not want to like branch out. Alright, here's the door. We actually might have a halfway decent map because we've explored so far and haven't found it, and then we just found the door. So it may be actually not too far from the door. Hopefully. Because if it is, I'd like to, kill him a couple times and see if we get any drops. Kind of like we do with Andoriel, because, again, our gear does need some love. Bonesnap is great, and Hearth is pretty great, but we have a lot of pieces that could use an upgrade. Okay, here's the waypoint. Let's go back and repair and grab potions and all that jazz. Vidalis. Just 30 faster run walk. The plus 150 stamina doesn't really matter, so if you just want 30 faster run walk, you could wear those, I guess. But you can shop like considerably better boots at this point. Oops. I don't need my mercenary, I already have him back. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, Mephisto, let's dance. I always do like to come down here and clear out these dudes because and kind of clear my way to Mephisto. Ow, jeez. There are more council members in here, of course, so let's kill the council members. Especially, you definitely want to kill the council members because they'll heal each other and they also heal Mephisto. Jeez, he got nuked quick. Holy! Okay. Well, I'm glad we didn't die right there. That was spooky. And actually for the Mephisto fight, well, I think I'm going to switch back to my resist amulet, just because Mephisto, he pretty much just does giant spells. But we'll see. Yeah, I got a mana burn. Also, when we go in to fight Mephisto, we want to lure him away from the stairs behind him, because those stairs behind him have more ghoul lords, and we don't want them shooting shit at us while we're fighting Mephisto. So we're going to lure him down towards us a little bit, and then we're going to telestomp him. At least that's the plan. And you know what they say about plans. Oh yeah, this damage prevention, or damage reduced amulet, working wonders here. He's not even hurting us. And I've only had to use a couple potions, so... Oh, hi. That one did a lot. We got shotgunned hardcore there. His charged bolt is, it's a lot of bolts. And it can shotgun you really hard like that. So, be careful there. And then let's grab this hatchet, and then let's grab this Brandistock. And then these, I believe, are super chests. No, the one back here is super chest. Not really, but I think these ones are too. I think we're just getting unlucky, but and there's a rack here. Superior Knout, that's pretty cool. So if you're looking for a one-hander again, and you're looking for in an exceptional base, Knouts, we can take a look at its stats. Kind of show you what it do. So, you know, 13 to 35 base, and then you could put whatever runes you wanted into this thing and make some kind of rune word out of it. So if you're running the sword and board version, you could definitely farm that rack for a Knout if that's what they draw. You know, if it was, I could farm that for a Knout basically. Okay. And we are now in Act 4. And this is going to be where we end the stream and post this episode up for the video. I know this was a bit of a shorter one, but I think this is a good stopping point rather than rushing through Act 4. Because also, I'm pretty hungry and I haven't had dinner yet. So I'm thinking about going take care of that. So, and actually, but I may hop on afterwards. We'll see how I'm feeling and do the Act 4 stream and just bang both of those out today. So this thing is interesting. A bunch of racism versus undead. But I don't think that stuff, I don't know if that stuff necessarily works with Vengeance. This thing has minus requirements and, you know, does a pretty good grip of damage for being a one-hander. So that wouldn't be a bad one. I don't have to carry the soulstone around because if you don't have it with you, Kane just teleports it to you when you crush the soulstone, in case you didn't know. So let's go and hail to you, champion. And then let's see what this brand of stock's looking like. It's poopy. We'll buy potions and we'll repair real quick. Alright, and then, yep, so I'll go ahead and get this uploaded to YouTube so anyone who missed the stream can follow along as always. And we'll see if I'm feeling up to it this evening to jump on and do Nightmare Act 4. Otherwise, that will be part of the stream tomorrow. So thanks everybody for watching and for, you know, always following along and supporting me in this little venture we're doing here of streaming and listening to me rant about random topics. So thanks guys, and see you soon.